I'm bundled. It is sunny, but it's super cold. And it's about to get colder. So winter is still here. And traveling to Spain in the middle of February was quite lovely. But what I have learned is that, my body was quite enjoying the spring feeling. And coming back to much colder is a bit interesting. So I don't know that I'm going to do that again. I might just travel to colder temperatures. So when I come back, it's like, ooh, this is lovely. So that's just what I'm sharing here with you today is really more about perception. Sometimes we have a view of the world that is shaped based off of previous experiences. And so when it comes to investing, when it comes to real estate, oftentimes we get stuck with believing something is cheap or expensive based off of the recent experience that we have had. What I mean by that is when we're looking to invest outside of our market, outside of our city or state, we might be conditioned, would be a good word, to basically look at the pricing in our area and then compare the pricing to the outside area to make a decision whether it's a good deal or not. That's not the best way to measure performance or success or whether a deal is a good one or a bad one, because it clouds our ability to correctly assess what is happening. So that happens with real estate, that happens with stocks, that happens with cryptos, that happens with just about everything, including the temperature with my little body trying to readjust yet again. And part of the challenge that we sometimes have is that we look at where things were and where they are now, and then we make a decision based off of it. And sometimes that's a great way to make a decision, but it should not be the foolproof mode. Here's kind of what I mean by that. Let's take, for example, stock market. It's been going up for 10 years now, something like that, plus minus a year maybe. And, the initial reaction looking at it would say, well, it's gone up all this time. It surely is going to go up again. Sometimes we'll look at it and we say, it's been going up and look, there's a little dip. This is it. Let's get out. And having that short myopic view of anything is not beneficial to us. It doesn't serve us really well. What needs to happen is much deeper analysis. When we're talking about real estate investing, instead of comparing the price of a 2-bedroom home in Oklahoma, for example, with a 2-bedroom home in Seattle, for example, we're going to create a giant bias in our evaluation. Every price of every place must be evaluated for the market within its own. So, for example, if I can buy $100,000 property, a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom in Oklahoma, and it can fetch $1,000 a month, that's following the 1% rule. That is a good deal, right? But it's only a good deal if there are people to actually rent within that market. If there are no people who are interested in renting, then, it doesn't really matter what the price showcases, what the math tells you would happen, because a property might sit vacant for forever. On the other hand, I might look at a property that is a 2-bedroom in Seattle, for example, and that one might be $500,000. And so now if we just compare 100,000 to $500,000, we say, oh my gosh, Seattle is super expensive, which Seattle is expensive. Let's just put it out there. But if we then look into what can it fetch for a rent, if maybe that property in Seattle can get a $6,000 a month in rent, perhaps that's a much better deal. And math-wise, it absolutely is a better deal because you're getting more than just 1%. And in a place like Seattle, obviously depending on the neighborhood, but let's assume that it's a neighborhood where people want to live, people want to rent. Now you actually, not only does the math make sense, but you're also getting people who are interested and willing to look at a place and rent it from you. That's basically what I wanted to share here with you, is that bias of comparison. Don't look at rent here and rent there and assume it's the same. You have to look within the market itself, and you do the comparison within the marketplace itself. Real estate is very localized, meaning what works in one area does not work in the other area. What will give you returns with one type of property in one place may not give you the same returns or any returns in different area, even if it is a same property. So you have to understand the marketplace, and the best way to do it, obviously, you can do online research, join in some chat communities, use the people that are professionals within the marketplace, which in this case scenario are going to be realtors. And if you can, go visit. There is nothing, absolutely nothing like a capability to go in and make an educated decision based off of an on-ground research. It never beats it. That was one of the main reasons why I went to Spain, because I can research stuff all day long, y'all, online, reading all these blogs, talking to all the people, but at the end of the day, what I am getting is their version of the interpretation of what's happening. That doesn't mean that they're lying. That doesn't mean that they're deceitful or dishonest. But what it does mean is that we all have filters through which we process things. And when we get a secondhand opinion or option, it's a watered down version of what we would have thought through, what we would have seen, what we could evaluate. So make sure that you use your own thinking, your own brain, use the educational components that you're getting through this channel or through the other channels, and really leverage that with your strengths, with your abilities, and with your team to then make a decision for yourself. Don't rely on just somebody's advice, including my own. I am the first person to say, don't just sit on my advice to make a decision of what makes sense for you to do, because I see world through my eyes, through my experiences, and my goal is to try to be as broad as possible in sharing stuff, but I don't know you, I don't know your personal needs and desires, opportunities, options, right? I don't know a lot of things about you, so I can't intelligently speak to everybody within the group to be able to share exactly what you should do. It's very personalized. Money and finance always is, which is why if you ever talk to me, or if you ever talk to hopefully any reliable financial professional, that they will say it depends. And it's not because people are trying to be difficult. It's because it really truly does depend on your personal needs, desires, age, ability to have money, ability to have cash, your income, and a host of other things. So make sure you take all of those things into account when you're making decisions for yourself. I hope this is helpful to you. If it is, please do share it with other people who you believe can benefit from learning and being able to improve their financial picture. Until next time, stay forever money blessed. And do remember, you are only one deal away.